Hello survivors, and welcome to another video. In today's video, I'm going to show you how you can beat Curse 7 or any of the other curses using less than 7 rune power. So as you can see, we actually have 6 out of 10 runic power being used. We run Weapon Expert, Dash Mastery, Multicast Mastery, and Purity. And the reason we go Purity is because we get a lot more damage for these no overlord or no endless runs, and it just makes it a lot better than having the executioner. Now in terms of skills, because we're running Purity and the Elementalist, we are only going to be running the slow skills. So any R skill in the possibility of our Elementalist getting is what we're going to be running. So that can be your Ice Vortex, Avalanche, Summon Helper Elves. Summon Helper Elves will probably be one of the best options that you can get. Ice Vortex, Blizzard, Avalanche again mentioned, but these 6 skills are going to be fantastic. Now the ones that we are going to work on a lot are our Severe Cold, and that's going to obviously apply a lot of the slow stacks as well as deal a lot of damage because of its bouncing projectile effect. Now one thing that we are going to be looking for statistics wise is cast frequency. We're looking for a lot of multicast and then area of effect. Order in which you get them is just going to be whichever one you get the better upgrade for. So if you get a rare damage over a common multicast, you're going to go for the rare damage and so on and so forth. However, with the introduction of the lock skill, we will go for a lot of them at the same time because we can now lock them in place. So Summon Helper Elves, a very nice skill to get there in the very beginning. We're going to banish ourselves the Indomitable, and we're not going to worry about Brutal Strikes here because, well, we're never going to use it. So we're actually going to re-roll those, and we landed up getting a Swift, which is fantastic as well, especially for some survivability. You don't need the Swift because we have Dash Mastery, but it is extremely helpful in terms of staying alive because you now have another dash. Alright, so we got 5 levels over here. Again, I'm just getting extremely lucky over here. Not necessarily what's going to happen for you, but we're going to grab Glacier. We will remove it at a later time. We are going to upgrade it. We're actually going to banish Fire Shield, banish Leviathan, and we will grab that. Ooh, another Swift. And we'll grab the Arcane Power. So again, we are sticking to only slow. You do not want to grab yourself any of the other ones, although even on our Death Knight, when we did our video yesterday, when we speed ran or got our best time ever in Curse 7, even though we ran Purity, we did get the other effects. So you can get them if you want, but I just want to show you that you don't need to get them. You can stick to one type of damage, and that being Ice only. We can grab Fragility because we will hopefully get Hypothermia, but we don't need it. Frostbolt, very strong as well, and we're just going to keep going. Here's our Hypothermia, fantastic, and we got Multicast for us. Now we're just looking for either Frozen Warhammer, the Ice Vortex, Blizzard, or Avalanche as well. And the only reason I say those skills is because they tend to have a lot of hits. So Avalanche shoots out 25 balls, each dealing a slow per ball, and therefore that's 25 stacks of slow on an enemy if you didn't already have a lot of cast frequency or multicast there. So very, very good to have skills like that. If you haven't unlocked Avalanche or you're still struggling with it, down in the description will be a video of how to unlock the other R skills like the Summon Helper Elves and the Avalanche skill. So if you don't have them just yet, go take a look at that video. It's a pretty easy to do video on the event to unlock them. Alright, so there we go, all 4 bosses done and dusted very, very quickly, very well. We'll get some life over here. We're going to go for the cast frequency on both of these. Is actually pretty good. There we go. Over here, expansive. We can go for the crit. A little bit of crit damage isn't going to kill us. Cast frequency, damage. Ooh, a nice multicast on Frostbolt over there. Here's Blizzard. So we're actually going to replace our Glacier for Blizzard. And by replacing it, we now have a lot more slow. And that's just going to help us, obviously, with the hypothermia and just our overall damage. So now we do like the potency for our arcane power. That looks very, very nice. As well as the damage for our Frostbolt. Again, damage is probably going to be a little bit better over there because we don't have a lot of cast frequency on the arcane power just yet. So very, very, very important to have cast frequency, especially if you have all the buffs. Now, if you do struggle with your Curse 7s or Curse 6s or any of the curses that have the pylons, just go run around and destroy them. It does make it a lot easier, but once you have a lot more practice down and under your belt, you don't really need to destroy them. You can just, you move around a bit more or, get hit once or twice. It doesn't really matter too much. So it's just a personal preference. If you do struggle with all of the AoE on the floor and things like that, then run around and destroy the pylons. It really does make a big, big difference and a big help. So it is worth the time and the effort to go and destroy them if you are struggling. If you're not struggling, then don't worry too much about it. You don't have to go and do that. Alright, let's go for that and some more multicast. Multicast is really going to be a key here along with cast frequency. I cannot emphasize that enough, that getting them is going to be a make or break. You really, really, really need a lot of those. But also hypothermia is probably a make or break situation here as well because you are using a ice or slow build. It is very, very, very important to have hypothermia for the damage. But if you don't get it, it's not the end of the world. You can just grab 1 or 2 frailty upgrades, which will give you the fragility as well. So not too bad of a situation over there, especially if you are running purity. It does just make you deal more damage anyway if you don't have the frailty. So all bosses dead. That's the second lot done and dusted in a relatively decent amount of time. We're going to go for the health over there. I don't think we need anything else, skill wise, but over here we've got all 3. So for me, because we're running Blizzard and we don't have our Ice Vortex, we're going to focus more on the multicast aspect more than anything else over here. And then we can go for damage on Blizzard, as well as a nice multicast on Severe Cold there, and a beautiful cast frequency. So now we can go for a little bit of cast frequency here over there, and a potency upgrade because there was nothing better out of the skill selection there. Alright, kill the Void Hunter who decided to knock us. We're going to go deal with the pylon again, or the tower, whatever it is you want to call it. And as you can see, we don't really deal too much damage, but it is a very consistent amount of damage. And as soon as Blizzard lands on something's head, it's going to just increase that damage exponentially, and it's going to be fantastic. So really, really good. You do want to make sure that you stay away from the Void presence because we do have the summons, and as you can see they do deal a whack of damage. So you want to make sure that you keep going in one direction, and that way the Void presence follows you and it isn't always in front of you or anything like that, just so that when you are running you don't accidentally run past the Void presence and they cause that AoE and it causes your summons to die. So do just make sure you run around in one circle or a specific direction, and that way your summon helper elves are going to stay alive for the longest time possible, because they obviously tethered to you and are going to be running in the same direction and with you. So because they're ranged, the Void Presence can kill them if she does her attack because you're too close to her. Unfortunately, we do have a little bit of a Plague Bearer over here, and as you can see, he's causing quite a bit of AoEs for us, which is a bit problematic, but not... It just takes a little bit more time than what we would have liked. But he is dead now, so those are going to go off very soon, off of the ground, and then we can focus on the Incarnation of Fire as well as the Chaos Bringer. Just being careful of some damage over here because our life was low. Unfortunately, we weren't careful enough, so we did take lethal damage, unfortunately. So grab some movement speed, definitely going to come in handy. And then the damage for our Frostbolt is also going to be fantastic over there, with a nice multicast as well as area of effect upgrade. Back-to-back legendaries. Let's go, that's what I'm talking about. And this just made it a lot easier because we just got a lot more multicast as well as area of effect there. So fantastic upgrades over there, really going to be helpful. But we kind of got to just kill those two. Fantastic. This Chaos Bringer, as you can see, he spawned pretty close to us, so we were able to deal a lot of, I mean, so much damage to him that he's already dead. So we got to try and stay close to the enemies, and that's going to obviously make it a lot easier for us to kill them, but you also want to be in a safe space so that you don't die to them too quickly like we've been doing, unfortunately. So there we go, Incarnation of Fire down, trying to get this Prophetess down very nicely and quickly, but again, just running around in circles to stay safe from the Void Presence and just deal the most amount of damage we can to the bosses while we are close to them. Now, if you are struggling with vision, because we do have a lot of area of effect now, what I suggest is going for a little bit of skill opacity in the settings. Not really necessary unless you are struggling a lot with it. Over here already, because we have hypothermia, it is okay to pick up the frailty. It does just make you deal more damage, and it's not going to affect you in any negative way since you already have the hypothermia. So again, if you are struggling with vision, like because there is a lot of area of effect already, just turn down your opacity just slightly, and that will obviously be a big help to being able to complete the run. So I myself might even turn it around, turn it down. You've seen me do this in multiple videos, especially when we do have these, screen covering abilities, and they make it extremely difficult to see what's going on. So definitely worth doing, especially if you want to complete the run. Alright, this is going to sound a bit weird, but I would suggest here, as you saw, our Void Hunter spawned at the exact same time as the bosses. Now, the bosses are quite easy to dodge and to take care of. What I suggest is taking care of those Void Hunters first, if you can. If you can't, then just keep your finger, your mouse cursor over their general direction, and eventually they will die anyway. They do like to run at you and into your abilities, so it will be quite easy to get rid of them that way. Alright, make sure you don't do what I just did and lose another life. And now we really need to be careful, so I'm going to turn off my graphics, and that's just going to make it so I will not get hit by anything else the entire run. This is the last bosses that we have to deal with as well, so it's just that extra bit of safety, that little safety measure, just to ensure that we complete the run and we're not going to get one KO'd by something that the Prophetess maybe does or something like that. So definitely worth doing if you are worried you're going to be dying. So just a little bit of a tip from me to you guys. Alright, I nearly dashed into the beam over there. That's why you saw me dash like quickly up again. So I went like down to the side and up. I even forgot that I had 4 dashes. So very, very strong build. It is a a, a purity build where you don't use a lot of negative debuffs or debuffing the enemy. And as you can see, our summoner helper elves definitely taking the cake over there. If you do not have them, please go watch the video to unlock them down in the description. And always remember, keep safe, survivors. And until next time, cheers.